A very good morning to you. Welcome to TVAM. Time now for sport. Richard Keys and a special guest with him.
Yes, indeed. Thanks very much, Nick. Good morning. Well, in just a moment we'll be talking to Sir Arthur Gold, President of the European Athletic Union. But first, the headlines. Football, and England set themselves up for a place in the final of the UEFA Under-21 Championship, beating Italy 3-1 at Main Road last night. In the First Division, Leicester stopped Liverpool, taking a 4-point lead at the top of the table, holding the champions to a 3-3 draw at Filbert Street. And Tottenham beat Aston Villa by 2-1 at White Hart Lane. In Division 3, Southend plunged further into relegation trouble after losing 4-0 at Millwall. But congratulations to York in Division 4, who clinched promotion with a 1-1 draw at Chester. Speedway, and the England team for the second test at Sheffield on April the 29th has been named. It's Carter, Lee, Morton, Wigg, Peter Collins, Jessup, Les Collins and Alan Graham. And one result from last night, Poole beat Ipswich 39-38. There's flat racing at Newmarket and two national hunt meetings at Southwell and Perth today. And the tip is Fair Dominion in the 310 at Newmarket. Right, well, we're just 4 months away now from the Olympic Games in Los Angeles. There's all sorts of problems, it seems, though, with mounting criticism about commercialism, a suggested Russian boycott, and in this country, a political row over Zola Bud. And then there's the emotive issue of drug abuse. Well, with us this morning to discuss some of those problems, Sir Arthur Gold, President of the European Athletics Union. Sir Arthur, good morning. And we can't, I suppose, start anywhere else other than with that. In the Daily Mail, Zola Bud pulling out from a run this Saturday. She was due to run the 1,500 metres. A Labour-controlled council, which is promoting the meeting in Crawley, is fairly happy that she's taken that decision. Now, where, I wonder, is all this going to end?
Well, Richard, I wonder, to start with, I came here this morning to talk about drugs in sport and not politics. But unfortunately, we've got politics in sport, and I would like to think that certainly party politics should be kept and will be kept out of British sport.
We may, just for a moment, dwell on Zola Bud. We'll talk about drugs in just a moment. Are
Yes.
you still in the anti-Zola Bud camp or not?
It isn't a question of anti or pro. There are two situations. As far as the girl herself is concerned, she's a young athlete of immense talent and very welcome in sport anywhere in the world. But the difficulties I raised, or I pinpointed, were the difficulties of eligibility and whether at this stage she's a British athlete. She's certainly a British citizen, but she's still got to establish herself as a British athlete.
Yes, did we in fact mislead people perhaps at the weekend by suggesting Zola might have to wait 3 years to qualify to run in a British vest? As a British citizen, does she not automatically qualify? Is that
no, you haven't
the
misled
case?
anyone. This is a ruling of the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, which is a completely autocratic body. And I believe that someone asked Monique Berlioz, the Director General of the position. She says that normally you would wait for 3 years, but there are circumstances which it may be waived, and if Britain would submit the case before the 27th of this month, we can get a ruling as early as that and save all the speculation after that to one way or another.
briefly?
But it isn't our ruling, it's a ruling of the International Olympic Committee.
Would you be happy to see Zola run in a British vest in Los Angeles?
Well, I would have reservations at the moment, because the only comparable situation was at the time of Mexico. A sprinter named Paul Nash, world record holder for the 100 metres, who'd been born in London, in Muswell Hill. When Mexico decided they couldn't guarantee the safety of the South African team, he made himself eligible for Britain. The selectors considered it for 60 seconds flat and decided, yes, he was a British citizen, no, he wasn't a British athlete. And I feel the situation at this stage is much the same with Zola Bud. But I would like to think that now she's settled here and establishes herself here, she will be a British athlete and will turn out with distinction for Great Britain.
Right, it's a situation that will sort itself out over the coming months. Now, what about drugs? A subject a little bit closer to your heart. What's your current stance on the abuse of drugs in athletics?
But it's not a current stance, it's a permanent stance. Sport's about health and honesty, and drugs are unhealthy and dishonest. The use of drugs is unhealthy and cheating.
And you, I believe, would like to see British athletes take a random test, is that correct? To prove whether or not they are in fact using drugs. Now, that's all very well, but it's such a widespread misuse of drugs across the world, and surely to goodness we're just going to be promoting, first-class losers rather than maybe second-class winners.
Oh, what a wicked remark that is. First of all, I'd like to see everyone having random tests. I ought to say in Europe, we're in the forefront of doping control and disqualification. But the argument that, oh, well, against the use of drugs, but we've got to do it to keep up with the rest, is sheer hypocrisy. It's a wicked argument. I would always ask anyone, if you had an 18-year-old son or daughter, would you want to put them on steroids or on testosterone? I ask coaches that, and often the answer is no, to which I then say, oh, well, why allow someone else's son or daughter to hazard to their health and to cheat? It isn't a question of keeping up with the Joneses, because if you want to keep up by cheating, that's fine, but don't call it sport.
Well, that, again, a very interesting argument. It remains, doesn't it, a fact that, in fact, if we've got to compete, in your words, we've got to cheat.
No, on the contrary, I would rather we never won another medal if I thought that we were going to sacrifice the health, or for that matter, the integrity of any young man or woman anywhere in the world. Sport and drugs are in opposite camps, or should be. I've said, and I keep on saying, it's the negation of health and honesty to use drugs in sport.
Smashing, Sir Arthur Gold. Thanks very much indeed. Very, very interesting topics, and perhaps we can return to them in a couple of months' time, perhaps. Well, that's
I look forward to that.
From us this morning, and we'll be back after this short break.